Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to recap the Tennessee Titans' third and final preseason game for this 2023 preseason period. And what was the best we have ever seen of Malik Willis in a Tennessee Titans uniform? By far. Now, with that said, I'm still not sure if he is quarterback 2 when the season starts. I think he will be, but I'm also not sure how long that leash will be. And it's actually a little unfortunate, because I'm going to go ahead and give my grade of Malik Willis today. My grade of Malik Willis is a B+. And with one less interception, it would have been an A-. And with another one less interception, it would have been an A++. It would have been a Malik Willis coming out party. It would have been a Malik Willis is here party. It would have been Will Levis's quarterback 3 party. Oh, I don't know. For some people, that's a party. But it would have been a party. People would have finally been vindicated. But those 2 blemishes were bad. Now, one was worse than the other. One at least hit the hands of his target. The other was just awful. And this guy needs to get better at reading linebackers in the middle of the field. That is an obvious deficiency at this point. Also, we almost had another fumble on a handoff, and although that may not show up on the stat sheet, I'm still taking very much note of that, because every single game somehow Malik Willis with the ball ends up on the ground. So I think what he did for sure is he cemented a roster spot. I think at this point, at the very least, and I doubt this is going to happen. Some people were considering that he might be cut if he didn't perform well in this preseason. And if he didn't perform well in this game, I think it was very much on the table. I think now he is at the very least 6th round value, maybe 5th. And some people would argue higher than that. I mean, Trey Lance, who was a 3rd overall pick, just got traded today for a 4th. Malik Willis ain't getting traded for a 4th. So, and Trey Lance has actually played well, relatively, in multiple preseason games. So, although I will say, I think Malik Willis played better today than any preseason game that Trey Lance has. I would say that. I would actually probably say that. I'd have to go back and look at every game of Trey Lance in the preseason, but I think because it's just really those 2 throws. And also the deep ball was underthrown. Although I will defend him. Actually, no, it was underthrown. The deep ball intended for Chris Moore, it was underthrown. And if a cornerback is in a better position there, if he wasn't beat on that play, cornerback could have turned around and picked that off. So that was underthrown. So the underthrow and the 2 interceptions outside, and then the almost missed handoff. But again, outside of that, man, he was great. So B+, and so again, I think he's earned a roster spot. I think now league-wide, he has at least 6th round value. So at the very least, I think you can, if anyone wants him, now that's the thing, though, even though I think he has that value, I don't think anyone's in a position to want him, except for maybe like the Rams. But I think the Rams like their backup and Skorinek. I think they actually like him. Why, I don't know, but yeah, so I don't think there's any teams in the league right now that are even looking for backup quarterbacks. I mean, the Cowboys shockingly traded for Trey Lance. That was surprising. But if Trey Lance gets moved for a 4th, I think Malik gets moved for a 6th, but I don't think anyone's going to make that move. So I think Malik makes the roster. And, is it a little unfortunate you have maybe one less wide receiver, maybe one less tight end? Sure, but I think it'd be worth it. I think at the very least, you let him sit, whether he was quarterback 2 or 3, and you let him continue to grow, because he is showing growth. Like, he looked really good today. Outside of those 2 blemishes, he looked really good today. I still have my doubts if he's ever going to be a starting quarterback, to be honest with you. If I had to bet, I'm betting no, but he's showing growth. I'm still betting. I just don't see it. I mean, he's still not even where Jake Locker was, man. But at least he has a little bit more moxie than Jake Locker. Jake Locker quit. Jake Locker was a quitter, ultimately. I mean, look, the guy can retire and do whatever he wants. He didn't want to be an NFL quarterback. But Locker looked better at this point than Willis, in my opinion, adjusted for inflation. So, again, I give it a B+. But he had some really nice throws. The throw deep over the middle to Colton Dowell, that was a dime. That might be the best throw he's ever thrown in his NFL career, pre and post in regular season. I think it was. It was a beautiful throw to Colton Dowell. The touchdown improvised to hit Karis Jackson in the end zone. That was beautiful from him as well to improvise, and he had the gall to try to force it over. It was either a linebacker or a safety, and there was a safety behind Karis Jackson and say, nope, I'm making this throw, confident in it. Stared him down. Well, didn't stare him down, but found him, got it to him, touchdown. And it was what he needed too, because the second interception was awful. And again, I like that he's trying. Like, that's the thing with him. So what's happening when it comes to these interceptions over the middle? He's trying to look these linebackers off. He recognizes that this is something that good quarterbacks do, that elite quarterbacks do. They look one way, to hope that the linebacker moves off, and then they, quickly throw the other way. But you kind of need to do that, but at the same time, either see in the side of your eye or look over there, like really, like it infinitesimally, like it just so quickly, and then see if the linebacker's still there, because these NFL linebackers, you can trick them sometimes, but not every time, because sometimes they're just going to sit there. I mean, sometimes you might expect them to move off, and then they just sat there, and you can't just throw it blindly, hoping that they're not there. You got to know that they're not there. That's not an excuse. If Tom Brady threw that in a Super Bowl to lose a Super Bowl, no one would be giving him an excuse. Now he's Brady, but that's not an excuse for Brady, Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow, Baker, Vince Young, Jake Locker. That's not an excuse. I expected the linebacker to be there. Too damn bad. He was there. You should have looked. Okay, Mahomes is the only guy that kind of does some no-look stuff, but even he's still kind of looking sometimes. Right? You got to at least peek. You got to be quick with it. So he has to improve at that. I like the fact that he's trying to look the linebackers off. I get it. But if they're still there, you can't throw it. You just can't expect it. So, and that's a little concerning because, it's good that, he's starting to develop some of these elite traits. It's a little concerning that and it's good that he's recognizing what these defenses should do. I really want to appreciate that. It is a little concerning, though, that he's relying on that. Like, he's more so than seeing it, he's just relying on what they should do because, again, they're going to trick you. So he's just going to have to, you're going to have to see it quickly. So again, he's trying to speed up his game, and I understand that. But you still have to see it. Like, quickly, but you have to see it. So I think that's something that he has to improve upon. But now, here's my thing, though. I believe, like, almost definitively, and like, I haven't been there for every practice, so I can't really say. I believe that if push comes to shove, and I don't think Tannehill, God forbid, he gets injured the entire season. Let's say Tannehill gets injured in September. I believe Willis will come in. If he gets injured in October, November, or December, I wouldn't be shocked if Levis goes in. Now, they're going to have to, they don't even, do you have to honor your depth chart technically, can you dress 3? Is that the rule? Is the rule that you can just have 3 or that you can dress 3? What's the rule now? Oh, it's only during injury. Okay, so whoever you put as a backup has to be the backup. Okay, so it would not shock me, guys, that at some point, and no one's gonna see it, except for those that you're in the media and go to practice, Levis becomes quarterback 2. And this is going to upset some people because we didn't see Levis play in the preseason. But Levis was the higher draft pick, and I just don't know if Willis did enough. I wasn't able to do my post-game recap last week because I actually got sick for a couple of days, and I just couldn't do it. And then after, by Tuesday, it was like, well, now it's kind of pointless. But I was not happy. I thought he was bad. I mean, guys, I know it's this is what you need to be saying. He threw for 211 yards today. Good. Okay? Good. That's what I need to see. People were defending last week that he threw for 85 yards. Are you people out of your minds? Have you lost it? Have you lost your mind? Because I'll help you find it. 85 yards will not cut it. Period. I will not see him go out there and throw for less than 100 again. Now, I had some morons coming at me saying, well, Tannehill had 2 games under 100 yards, and we won both of those games in the playoffs. As his running back had historical playoff performances. That scenario, fine. You can throw for, and even then, it's ridiculous that you threw for 85 yards. I never want to see Malik Willis throw for under 100 yards if he plays for most of the game, or at least 80% of the game. It's just too low for an NFL quarterback. It's too low. It's ridiculously low. 150 is low. Okay? It's low. 85. I mean, that's low, guy. I mean, how low can we go? If 85 is acceptable, I want to tell me what is your limit. At what point is it too low? Is it 75? Is it 65? Is it 55? It can't be much lower than 85. It can't be much lower than that. Let's not lose our minds here. 85 yards is a joke. Period. And he's done it consistently. Okay? So that's no more of that. Okay? So today, career high for a game, good. Give me more of this. Give me more of this. This is what I want to see. Okay? I am not even asking for 300. I love it. I take it. But I'm not even asking for that. 200 yards. Not even average for an NFL quarterback. I think average is like 220. So 85. I mean, people were defending that. Now, granted, he ran for like 70. I don't care. You can't throw for 85 yards. It disgusts me. I'm not going to watch a game for 4 quarters where I'm averaging 20 passing yards a quarter. It's absurd. Don't reference those 2 playoff games where Derrick Henry rushed for over 200 yards and carried the team on our back. And again, Tannehill, I'm looking at you as to why you can't, show up on your end so that way he doesn't have to do that, and why you can't show up in the AFC Championship when we need to. And yes, that year still pisses me off. And yes, it will always piss me off 2019. But anyway. So, I do believe that Malik Willis will be quarterback 2, but I don't know how long the leash will be. And I think he's helped by the fact that, Levis is injured. So I think he's going to be healthy for week 1. But considering the fact that he missed, this preseason game, he got injured in practice. He got injured in practice, missed 2 preseason games. Why should he be your backup quarterback week 1? Honestly, Malik Willis is more prepared to be the backup quarterback week 1. I would trust Malik Willis to go out there and run the offense and do everything that we needed to do in case Ryan Tannehill went down. God forbid, for week 1. Is that going to be the case in week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5? I don't know. So I don't know how long this Malik Willis leash will be, but I think for week 1, I think he got it. And maybe the gods, Game of Thrones, the gods, just blessed him and they had his favor, and that's it. And the gods, made their will known by injuring Will Levis. I don't know, but he's going to be with these circumstances. That's what happened. Would Will Levis have gone there and played well and claimed the spot? We'll never know. I mean, we'll maybe assume down the road, but we'll never know. Or maybe he went in there and sunk it up even more, and I would have lost my Titans preseason bets, and that would have been great. But I bet on games 2 and 3 because I'm like, okay, come on, we got to win these preseason games with these quarterbacks. Don't bet on the preseason, but I do because if you like the backup quarterbacks, I think you should do it, especially if they need to prove themselves. So I liked what I saw. Again, I'm not betting that he's ever going to be our franchise quarterback. I still see some things that I don't like, but I think if you give him another year, like I don't want him in this year. Okay, yeah, please keep Tannehill in there. If you give him another year, will he be Steve McNair in year 3? Let's see, what was Steve McNair's stats in year 3? Steve McNair. In year 3, when Steve McNair, and by the way, GG to the days where you could just wait a couple years for these quarterbacks, man. Shout out to Trey Lance, man. They did you dirty, dog. So first year, Steve McNair starting, and we're going to adjust for inflation on this, but he had 14 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a passer rating of 70. And then second year, he had 15 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, passer rating of 80. So, I mean, could he be now if we were adjusting that? So let's adjust that because that was the 90s. So to me, that's a stat line today of like 21 touchdowns and still like 13 interceptions. You're not going to throw many more interceptions than that. If he was that quarterback next year, I would be very impressed. If he was a quarterback next year that could throw for over 20 touchdowns in a season, which right now I actually don't think he is. I don't think he is. Which isn't necessarily a huge criticism. Look, those idiot Giants fans are praising Daniel Jones. The kid threw 15 touchdowns last year. So if Malik Willis could throw over 20 next year, I'd be very impressed. I don't know how many games we'd win. So I don't know if I want to hatch my ticket to that. As opposed to Levis, who I think could honestly throw for over 20 right now. I think he'd throw for like 17 interceptions still. So it'd be a lot up and a lot of down, and a lot up and a lot of down, and a lot up and a lot of down. So we have Willis, but the problem with this is he turns the ball over too. Like the thing that Malik Willis, I think, needed to do is I think he needed to show. Because the thing that will drive me crazy when Will Levis gets in there, and I think he will, is he will not take care of the ball. He is going to turn the ball over. So for me, the big thing that Malik Willis could have offered was, I'm not going to do that. Will Levis might throw the game away. He might put us in a bad position, but hey, I can control the ball. I can be a Steve McNair in his prime. I can, maybe not MVP, but you know what I mean. Hey, we're on the ball. Eddie George, good defense. That was best case scenario. But Malik Willis, you're turning the ball over too, man. So even though I liked today's performance, the interceptions still really, really bother me. You're talking about 4 interceptions in this preseason. It's probably going to lead the preseason. Right now, the leader is 3. Someone else might get an interception or 2 and lead. He's probably going to have led the preseason interception. Now, he's had way more playing time than he will have had more playing time than everyone. Probably. I don't think anyone's going to have more. Maybe Aiden O'Connell. Maybe. Outside of that, no one's going to have more playing time than Malik Willis in the preseason in terms of number of snaps. So there is that. But he's going to have led the NFL in preseason in interceptions with a fumble last week. And that just bothers me because we can't afford. If you're not going to give me passing yards and move the ball down the field, then you better take care of that football. And he's not doing that. So he still needs to read the field better. I don't want him out there this year, period. If Tanner gets hurt week 1, whatever. And then if Levis shows that he's better in camp, you want to throw Levis out there, go ahead, throw him out there. Look, you guys know I'm not huge on Levis when it comes to his tape out of Kentucky. And I'm very excited to see what he can do. And I'm very excited to see his girlfriend out on Broadway whenever I do. Shout out to Gia Duddy. But I still need to see what he actually does. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. Man, I'm starting to look at some of these because college football is coming up, and I'm starting to look at some of these 2024 quarterbacks, and I'm like, man, we really couldn't have just done something like, I mean, I think Skrons is going to be good, by the way. JSN, man. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh, man. I'm just like, bruh. And I know he fell down to 20. I'm like, bruh. He could have won 11. He should have won 11, and he would have wore 11. If Chris Moore would have given him the number. JSN and then an offensive lineman in the second round and then a quarterback next year might have been the move. And I mean, that's what I said pre-draft. I'm going to keep saying that. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope Will Levis is great. Or Malik Willis continues to improve and he's great. But I'm just like, bruh, Jackson Smith and Jigba looks great. He looks great. So you just can't now we got D-Hop, so I guess whatever, fine. But we would have had at least a franchise wide receiver next to Traylon Burks. You know? But at the very least, I think I do, and I am now becoming more optimistic about this team. Now, let's actually get into more components as to why. Let's stick with the offense for now, and then we'll get to the defense, because the defense is a big part of it. Run game, Julius Chestnut. So, Corey Curtis, shout out to Corey Curtis on WKRN. Dude, when are you even going to get a different job? I know, I'm just kidding. He's been there forever. I'm just like, boy, oh boy, Corey Curtis, he's been there since I was a kid. WKRN, they love to keep their staff. I swear. I guess they get good raises. So, Corey Curtis mentioned on the Rosie report from, I think, Tighten Up Network or wherever it was, that he anticipates that Hassan Haskins, oh my God, might still make the roster over Chestnut because Hassan Haskins is a better special teamer, and obviously you need guys that play special teams. And this is why, if you remember back to 2010 when we had Chris Johnson, we had Javon Ringer, who was drafted the year before, and then we had like LeGarrette Blount, and then we had someone else. And Blount wasn't a special teams guy. The third quarterback was. We kept him instead of. Let me check who that was, actually, because that's going to bother me. But we kept the other guy instead of LeGarrette Blount. Now, for that example, we should have kept LeGarrette Blount. Not even in hindsight, because, I mean, first of all, Javon Ringer was like a 5th-round pick. He didn't do anything his rookie year anyway. I don't know why they gave a damn about Javon Ringer. That was just stupid. I never understood the love for Javon freaking Ringer. That was just ridiculous. But yeah, so that year we cut LeGarrette Blount because we liked the third running back. Actually, no, we only carried 2 running. Wait, did we? I think we kept we kept Amar. This is when you used to run Amar Hall as fullback. So I think we kept Amar Hall. And then we kept Ringer and we let go of LeGarrette Blount, which was stupid. If I remember correctly, I'd have to go back and check what was a 53-man roster. So that might happen here. But, dude, Hassan Haskins damn near killed his wife. I mean, or his girlfriend, whatever. The guy's a clown. So for that alone, and yes, innocent until proven guilty, I understand. For that alone, combined with Julius Chestnut's play, I mean, how can you keep Haskins over this guy? I mean, are you crazy? Now, is Chestnut ever going to play? Hopefully not, because if he does, that probably means Henry's hurt. But, I mean, I think he might, though. Like, Ty Spears, when he gets in the open field, or when he makes a cut and he has a lane, he's very explosive. But this is why when we drafted him, I told you, okay, some people are saying that this is going to be the running back of the future. No, he's not. I don't know if he's over a 1,000-yard runner. You know how Tony Pollard's not a great example athletically, and we'll see how Tony Pollard does this year. But you know how Tony Pollard is a number 2 back for most of his career, hell, all of his career and his collegiate career. That's what Ty Spears is going to be for us. He's going to be, and again, we'll see what Tony Pollard does this year. This year is going to be different because he's the only guy. We'll see what Deuce Vaughn does behind him. But that's where I want Tyrese Spears. I want him out of space. I want him in the passing game. I want him in space, in space, in space. I don't love him at the goal line at all. In fact, he's bad. And then even just moving the chains, it's just it's not there consistently. I don't see it. I like him in space, which is way more than I could say about Darrington Evans, which is way more than I could say about Javon Ringer, which is way more than I can say about some of these guys we've had in the past. Dexter McCluster. Way more I can say about Dion Lewis. So we're doing better and younger there. But he's not the running back of the future. And if he is, we got big problems. Because if we're going to next year with Will Levis and Tyjae Spears, oh my God. So you saw him struggle a little bit, and then he popped off for one. So that's what you're going to see. So I could see scenarios where Henry's a little dinged, and I'm not saying he's hurt, but let's say he's a little dinged or tired, and you're at the goal line, run Julius Chestnut. Because Tyjae, he's all right in there. Chestnut's better. Run Chestnut at the goal line. So I think Chestnut has a role on this team. That's what I think he does. I don't think he's just going to sit on the bench and just accrue dust. So I think you got to keep Chestnut. The way he's performing, I think you absolutely have to. So that was the aspect there. Wide receivers, really not much to discuss. The ball was moved around significantly, and none of the starters or any significant players really played. If you're a Kyrus Jackson fan, maybe he'll make the team. I don't really know, and I don't really care. The defense. Wait, no, before we go to defense. The tight ends and offensive line. Wiley. So Josh Wiley. So I'm going to defend him on the Malik Willis interception. He tried to make a play, hit his fingertips. Again, some people are going to say, well, if it hits your hands, you got to come down with it. Oh, and by the way, someone in the chat just mentioned Jacques Patrick. Yeah, I don't think he's making the team. I think you got to do Chestnut over Patrick. Keep Patrick on the practice squad and let Patrick do his thing on the practice squad. I don't think anyone's going to pick him up. But he played very well. Anyway, so Wiley, I need to see more consistency from him. Luckily, Chig is playing well, relatively. He's had a couple drops, but he's playing well. So we may not rely upon him much. I want to see a little bit more consistency from him, especially, blocking-wise. We knew he wasn't a great blocker, but I need to see better there. Offensive line played pretty well. Chris Hubbard on the right tackle is a bit of a concern. Dillard was out there for pretty much, I think, the whole first half, which was very surprising. They're trying to get more looks at him, which I think is very interesting. But outside of that, everything looked good in my opinion. Chris Hubbard, though, a little shaky, but he's going to start. So it is what it is. We'll see how he does in the regular season. But I think this is way more improved than they were in the first game. I mean, oh my God. The first game was a disaster. So I'm just happy that they've improved from that point. I mean, it was so bad. All right, now let's get to the defense. So this first team defense, now this gives me more reason to get excited about this team this year. Actually, some real genuine excitement out of me. I know, this is shocking. They looked really, really, really good. Azeez Al-Shaair. I mean, this guy was getting after it. He finally, we have a guy that's actually popping a little bit at inside linebacker. I was never a big fan of Rashaan Evans. I liked him when we drafted him, but, when we year 2, year 3, year 4, I'm like, guys, this guy's not going to be in the league in a couple years. And I was right. People will clown me for that. With Avery Williamson, I was like, this guy's not going to be in the league in a couple years. People clown me for that. And he was a hometown boy, so I understood why people wanted to love him, but, whatever. I don't know if he's, going to be a great linebacker yet, but I think he's going to have a very good year, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Is he going to be better than David Long? I don't know, because I think David Long was pretty good, but I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, and at least we know that side should be locked up, because we still have questions about Monty Rice. Is Jack Gibbons really good? I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think the other side's going to do much of anything. He's going to have to hold it down, and he looks like he can do a lot of that. I don't know if he can carry the whole inside linebacker position. I think it is a weakness for us, I'd have to say, because I just don't know about Rice and Gibbons. And I think they play individual roles, but I just don't love the pairing over there. I think we're going to be drafting that position very shortly, if not picking up a free agent. But I liked what I saw from Azeez Al-Shaair for sure. Sean Murphy Bunting, he looks to be out there. He looks impressive. I'm very intrigued how he's going to compare to Christian Fulton, who, I mean, he's had some nice practices lately. We saw some injuries concerns about him, and people are already assuming that he's going to be out the door. I'm even kind of consuming that, or at least, entertaining that a little bit. We'll see. As of right now, I'm very intrigued with Murphy Bunting, and maybe he might end up being our best corner this year. I don't know. But his addition will be very much an improvement to this team. You're going to see him, hopefully McCreary and Christian Fulton have sustained success. And by the way, rest in peace to Caleb Farley, his father, in that entire tragic situation. I don't know what happens with him. I don't think it's going to be fortunate, which sucks. I mean, the timing is just horrible. Yeah, man, rest in peace, man. What a tragic situation that was. The defensive line, they were getting after it for sure. Even guys, like Jaden Peeves, he showed out. Who was it that actually forced the fumble? Let's see. By the way, Jaden Peeves, I meant. Who was it that forced the fumble? It should have been. It doesn't say here who forced the fumble. I'll have to look that up later. As to who actually forced the fumble. But yeah, I liked what I saw from Jaden Peavy. Those are the ones that really stood out to me. For sure, that first unit. Oh, and by the way, I mean, Patriots fans, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Now, I don't think you guys really care anyway, because you guys are on the MAC-10 train. Bailey Zappa was awful. I mean, now his protection was not giving me any favors. He threw for 57 yards today. Now, I just went off on Malik Willis throwing for 85. So you know how I feel about 57 yards for the entire freaking game. I thought there was a chance that if Mac struggles that Zappy goes in there, but Zappy has stunk it up. So he's not going to get in there. I mean, this was awful. I mean, yeah, he's not going to get in there. And it's funny because, they're peers, Zappy and Malik. So it's good to know that Malik is way ahead of Zappy at this point. I mean, that was just embarrassing. That was absolutely crazy. Yeah, Caleb Murphy, I'm anticipating that he will make the team. And someone said that Autry. Yeah, Danique Autry. Sorry. Autry forced the fumble. Well, someone else said Caleb Murphy forced the fumble. So I don't know. It doesn't have it on my stat sheet. So one of them forced the fumble. I don't know why they don't have it. Usually they have it on here. Or maybe I'm just tripping. But yeah, got to clean up the fumbles, though. I'm not happy about these fumbles. You see Malik Willis with a fumble on the stat line. Not happy about that. Anyway, so let's get to the Super Chats, because I saw a couple Super Chats. Let's go ahead and get to those. Always appreciated Super Chats. Always get read. If you want other comments read, at me in the chat at Sports Fan Entertainment. I'll answer those that I feel like it. But the Super Chats always get read. All right, where are we at? Check comments. Okay. So we had our first super chat from Fire in the Sky, who says the following. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the offensive line? Again, the offensive line actually played well today. So I'm actually not too concerned. However, now we are going to have to say that, hold on. Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry. I got distracted by something else. Now, Daniel Brunskill got hurt. He got hurt today, so yeah, not great. I don't know the severity of that. kind of concerning too. I'm like, why was he? Because this was in the second quarter. Why is he out there? We're already down Nicholas Petit-Frere. We're down Traylon Burks. Why are we risking our offensive lineman? Look, Malik Willis, I love you, dog. We don't need to be worried about protecting Malik Willis right now. I mean, when Tannehill was out there for one series, but I didn't even discuss it because he just handed it off 3 times. The variable was just like, hey, you just gonna be handing the ball off anyway. But anyway, I'm kidding. But the offensive line was good today. I mean, they blocked well to me. I mean, they gave Julius Chestnut, one of his more impressive runs. They opened up lanes for him. One of the broadcasters, wow, okay. The cuts were good, but one of the broadcasts, I think it was Charles Davis, was like, oh, look at the vision of Julius Chestnut. I'm like, what vision? There's a huge hole on the right. He went there. Then there was a huge hole on the left. And he went there. Then he went straight. There was no vision required. If he didn't do that, I'd be like, okay, cut him. Because it was the most obvious run he could do. The lanes completely open up. So offensive line played well for me today. I need to know the extent of the injury for Daniel Brunskill, though, because that's a problem. If he can't go, that's a problem. In fact, let me do a quick little Twitter check to see if there's any sort of new information on that. Because if so, and it's bad, then that is bad. So Brunskill, you went to the locker room. Let's see, latest people you follow. All right, so yeah, nothing yet. We'll see what they say. That's the one that would concern me. Yeah. But I want to give a shout out to Zachary Finley. He says, hi, MJ, tall dude who said hi at the Nashville SC game. I really thought 87 tight end looked really good as a blocking fullback guy, and I think he can make the roster. Really stood out to me tonight. Alize Mack. Yeah, I mean, and we'll see. He's right on the edge. But he's definitely a good blocking tight end, and thank you for the shout out. And again, if you ever see me in person, feel free to say hi. We have St. Louis Titans who says next year is going to decide who is the Titans' next quarterback next year. Well, hopefully, because if not, then what is it going to be? 2025? Yeah, I mean, I guess you're assuming that Tannehill's gone, and then we run Willis versus Levis. Which, to be honest with you guys, again, I'm still rooting for both of these guys. I'm still not thrilled about that potential competition. I think it's fine. But I mean, if the other positions are there, it doesn't really matter. Look, I'm not thrilled if I'm a 49er fan about Purdy versus Darnold versus Lance. And yet everyone picks them to go to the Super Bowl, and they almost went to the Super Bowl last year. Now, I think that the 49ers are overrated. I think they're about to come back to earth because you can only run those quarterbacks for so long. But, again, and we have the former, 49ers director of player personnel here. So while Levis versus Willis doesn't excite me, neither does Purdy versus Darnold. And yet that's what the 49ers are doing. So it can still work, it can still definitely work. All right, so if that's it, that's going to do it for me. So I'm going to come out probably with my 53-man roster projection. And then I'm definitely going to make some other NFL prediction videos, give my win-loss records for each team. I'm feeling better about the Titans. Look, D-Hop has actually come here and looked really good. I mean, I knew he was still good, but the way he's looked in camp, he actually really looks like, he hasn't lost much of a step. I think he is actually going to make quite the impact. And I'm now getting a little excited. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Tennessee Titans beat the New England Patriots tonight, 23-7 in the preseason. And now, just over 2 weeks away from beginning the regular season as they travel to New Orleans and face the New Orleans Saints. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.